In our next presentation, right before our break, we're going to talk to you about a project we did in our ACCess Autism meeting. And this project was a 7-week-long project, and it was called the Levels of Friendship. And what that means is each student understands that making friends means that you have to be intentional, precise, you have to be careful, and it's not about how much you like somebody, it's about how much you know somebody. And moving forward through that and through each level, and the reason why this is important is because we will have students who meet somebody on Facebook, or they meet somebody one time, and next thing they move from level 1 to level 6, and they're asking them out on a date. And then that can turn into something very horrible for that student. And it's because they haven't gone through this process of getting to know somebody. So we went through this project, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Miles and Danielle explain to you what this was like for them and walk you through the levels of friendship so you can get a better understanding of how we worked this and some of the work that we do in our group. So Miles is the author and Danielle is the illustrator. So Miles and Danielle, take it away.
So friendship level 1 is friendly greeting. This level of friendship is between two people who have just recently met each other, and they are coming across to each other as good people so far. In this level of friendship, you'll have all kinds of people. Like these are the people who you meet with, or meet like every day at school. You might have them in a class or something, but you don't necessarily talk to them a lot. You'll say hi to them, or maybe occasionally you'll have a brief conversation with them. Same for in the workplace. If you see someone regularly, but only talk to them here and there, but you don't know them at all, you just they're like a friendly person, and you'll once in a while engage with them. And that would be a level 1 friendship.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I am the treasurer in this group, and I drew all these goofy pictures you might see. I decided to use ducks because I'm a duck addict. I like ducks. And I drew this picture on the first level of friendship because I believe on the first level we always start off by saying hi. So you can see they're saying hi to each other.
And now we have friendship level 2, acquaintance. This level of friendship is between two people who have known each other for a little while, and they like each other so far, but they still do not know very many personal details about each other. This could be like someone either who you work with or who you're in a class with, and you might talk to each other every day. You might work on projects with them every day, and all the stuff you talk about with them is work related, and that's pretty much all you're going to talk about. And again, you'll seem friendly to each other, you'll be getting along well, and you'll collaborate well on whatever it is you're doing, but you don't know any personal details about each other, so they're just an acquaintance.
Thank you, Miles. And what's the importance of knowing the difference between level 1 and level 2?
Well, with level 1, it's more like you say hi to them, in class or at the workplace, but don't really have any conversations about anything or collaborate with them on anything. You just say hi, maybe talk briefly about something, but with an acquaintance, you're more likely to actually have conversations with them regularly. If you're coworkers, or you're collaborating on a project, or you're doing something in school together, you'll know each other on what you're doing, but still you don't know them personally, so that's why they're still an acquaintance and not a friend.
Okay, Danielle, can you explain your illustration?
Like he just said, on the second level of friendship, you start making small talk and start knowing the person. And I also decided to combine one of my funny little duck jokes. And if you look, you see instead of cheese and crackers, you see, quack in it. But it's always good to know about what's that person's, small things. What kind of small things can you relate to that person? Like, what's their favorite snack or what's their favorite movie?
And so what you're seeing here is they're starting to gather what we do naturally is gathering our people files, right? So the next time they encounter this person, they'll know that this person's favorite snack is this, and they could bring that up in a conversation. The next level, go ahead, Miles.
All right, and now we're on level 3, possible friendship. This level of friendship is between two people who are beginning to exchange personal details about each other and are getting along very well with each other at the same time. So this could be like a classmate or a coworker. You, because you're getting along really well, you decide you want to, like, say, go out to lunch together or go on a walk together. And maybe you'll have like you'll start texting with each other and about like more personal things, and you'll start to exchange some like some personal information, but like on this level, nothing like too personal yet, but you're getting to know the person a little better and building the people file.
I know Mario would like the cheese and crackers thing, so he's probably going to steal your joke, Danielle. Okay, Danielle, can you tell us about your illustration?
Well, like you just said, Ed, this is the part where you start wondering if maybe they like to go and hang out somewhere here. So that's why I have the ducks asking the other duck, like, if they like to go to the pond tomorrow and see like what happens. And just ignore that the fact that their feet are like not colored in. Just imagine them not having feet in general.
I think it's okay. Thank you for explaining that. The importance of going through each level for students, again, is so that they know it's how well you're getting to know somebody, not how much you like them. And this is a risk for students because I'll bring up the texting. If students give texts or give their numbers out to text for group projects in a classroom, we might want to offer some clarity. Like, we're going to text, you can exchange numbers for group project information only, instead of misinterpreting and thinking that, oh, I can just start texting people because they gave me their number, they're my friend. It's kind of like I have 15,000 people on my Facebook as friends, they're all my friends. Well, we've had to have some really crucial conversations that not everybody that is on your Facebook or your Instagram is actually your friend. Students are at risk who have autism to being taken advantage of, and doing so because they're just trying to engage with others. So these are important conversations. Level 4, Miles.
All right, so now we're on friendship level 4, evolving friendship. This level of friendship is between two people who frequently hang out with each other, and they are getting to know each other pretty well at this point. So this would be like after they've like maybe gone out to lunch a couple times, gone on some walks, gotten to know a little more personal detail, and they're still getting along really well. Maybe like they decide to go over to one person will go over to the other person's house, and maybe they'll watch a movie together, play video games together, have dinner together, and they'll start getting to know like a bunch more personal detail about each other. And maybe they'll start hanging out, go at other places together, go to the water park together, something like that. And they're getting to know each other on a much more personal and much more intimate level at this point.
Thank you, Miles. Danielle?
Like Miles says, this is the part when you start actually learning more about the other person. And at this part, like after you start hanging out with them, you're like, hey, let's hang out even more, and stuff like that. That's why the conversation they're having here, if they might want to like do something at a pond again.
Something we talked about through each of these illustrations is body placement. What's happening with the individuals, right? They were further apart. One was in the water doing something, the other one was out on the grass. As they start evolving, they're more side by side. They're becoming friends. They're becoming buddies, right? And we also discussed that sometimes people can move up and down in levels depending on what happens, because sometimes you get to know somebody really well and then you're like, oops, I don't think that that's somebody that's really that safe to be hanging out with. So maybe they have a different standing in your life at that point. Level 5.
All right, and now we're on level 5, bonded friendship. This level of friendship is between two people who know each other very well and they hang out with each other on a regular basis. So at this point, unlike the evolving friendship, at this point they've been over at each other's houses like for a while now, for maybe several months now. They've been going to each other's houses, going out and doing fun things together, and they've exchanged a lot of personal information about each other, and they really know each other on a very intimate level now and feel very comfortable with each other, and they get along really well. And this is where there's a sense of bond between them.
Right, and somebody's asking in the chat if the alligator's representing danger, and that's really cool that you picked up on that, because, right, so Danielle, what's happening in this next illustration?
Yeah, actually, the alligator is danger. And if you think about it in friendships, when we're like starting to get that point, danger will start coming up. Like, you know, like one person could like try to intervene with that friendship and like try to ruin it or something like that. That could be a danger. Or they notice that the other person is doing something weird. That could be dangerous. But another thing too about this level of friendship is that pretty soon, when you have a friend who's been with you for this long, you will protect them if a danger came up, right? So you give them good advice and like protect them if something comes up and you're afraid for their personal being or their health.
Right, very good. So we've talked about how many people might be at these more tiers of friendship and how close they are. And so Miles is okay with if I share this. When I first started working with Miles on this, it was like, there's so many people in these top tiers, right? And we do this massive diagram, and we have it all diagrammed out in my office back at Northridge. But I think it was an eye-opening experience for Miles to say, well, what do you really know about these people? What do they know about you? And really diving into those social dynamics to help him understand that bonded friends are probably going to be less. There's probably not going to be as many of them. And then as we move to level 6, that's really going to be very, very few people in your life. And that's okay, because these are people that know you, they trust you, they'll have your back. And it's not okay to move from that first level all the way up to 5 and 6 without you learning about them. So level 6, Miles?
All right, now the final level, friendship level 6, close friendship. This level of friendship is between two people who have known each other very well for a very long time. They always have each other's backs, and they love and trust each other 100%. It is built on loyalty, honesty, integrity, and care. I'll say it again, loyalty, honesty, integrity, and care. All are essential, absolutely essential to this level of friendship. You've known this person for years, and you've done a lot together. It's taken a lot, I mean a lot, to really build up this level of trust and care, and to know people this well. And you'll likely only have like 2 or 3 of these people throughout your life. And this really shows like the whole pyramid shape of it. You start out with level 1 on a really good base that's really big, a lot of people, and it gets smaller and smaller as you go up to these levels. And like what Samantha was just saying, like I didn't understand this too well, like before really learning this, but I've worked hard on it so that I can understand it better. And it's really important to realize that you, when moving up these levels, like there are some people where you'll move up quicker than you will with other people, but regardless of how quickly you move up, you need to at least touch on these levels. You can't skip any of these levels, because like that's how you'll become naive about people and give yourself the idea that you know them better than you actually do, which can open you up to be double crossed or taken advantage of. Also, if like you're moving up too fast, they might get put off by that, and they like think you're stalking them or something, and you can really put someone off that way. So for both those reasons, you really need to be careful. And like we stated at the beginning, is these levels of friendship are about how well you know somebody, not how well you like somebody. So you can meet someone and they seem like an awesome person. They're really nice to you. They are all, you like, you're getting along with them really well, and it's all great, but you're like just scratching off the surface. You don't know that that's who they really are. Well, you're just knowing them. So you need to really get to know them to be able to tell who they really are.
Thank you. Thank you, Miles. That was a great explanation. And Danielle, can you touch on the final illustration for us? And we'll have a couple wrap-up thoughts on this, and then we'll take an intermission. Go ahead.
Well, the other duck sees how this other duck will help him out with anything. So he's pretty much saying thank you, And this is like a big eye opener how close of like friends they truly became, for him to actually like risk his life to save him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just one of the things that we've done within our organization as a group to help each other and walk through. Each student did one of these individually, and they created their own pictures and their own explanation of what they understand. And so then we just wanted to present that to you to let you know that this type of stuff is where the struggles are in building and sustaining relationships, because sometimes move too fast. Sometimes we don't know what to say. Sometimes we say the wrong things. And sometimes we get reported for things that are not intended to be what the other person is perceiving. So does anybody have any questions on this before we break?
There's actually a question, I think, on the chat.
Oh, please touch on how trickier it is to create those relationships when we're all virtual. That's very true. So virtually, right, it's even more work. We've talked about before trusting somebody over virtual means where they don't see them or talk to them, because that is a huge risk that a lot of our students have engaged in and they've gotten taken advantage of. So in this virtual world, I do have to say our participation with this group has been a lot more. But virtually, it's really hard to have the students connect because they can't interpret, and others can't interpret the meaning sometimes that don't match the language and stuff like that. So it's important for them to go through these and kind of check themselves regularly, right? Even in the virtual environment. So one thing that I do talk to them about is if they aren't willing to come on camera and show you who they are, it's probably a good indicator that you might not want to engage with that person, because if after so much time you've been talking and engaging with this person and they're not willing to let you see them, right, or hear them or talk to you on the phone, then there's probably a risk there. So I'm hoping that that's kind of where you were asking about, Kathy. Was it Kathy?
Someone asked you to share their differentiation will follow them.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay. Howard's, I was at level 3 with all the members in the group. Okay. Moving among these levels of friendship is challenging for neurotypical people. If you think about it, we do this naturally, right? It's something that comes to us naturally. However, it's more difficult for people with autism because they're not just trying to know how to communicate or the language to use and what to do. They're also trying to understand what rule will they break, right? Because if it's not a written rule, they're probably going to break the rule. So hidden rules of social interaction are big, and they get broke all the time for people with autism because they just don't know about it. They are rule followers if it's written down and it's a rule they're not supposed to do, and they know it and it's specific. They're not going to do it, and they're probably going to tell on everybody else that's not doing it. Okay, but in reality, if it's something that we just know as society is not appropriate, like we all probably know, or we may not, that if somebody gives us their phone number in the classroom to text because we're doing a group project, that it's really not okay to start texting that person over and over and over. We all probably know that social media, or we should know, and something we learn is not everybody looks at their social media all the time, right? So engaging with people on social media is a whole nother dynamic where students might perceive that their friends are engaging on that regularly, know what's going on in their life, stuff like that. And that's not necessarily true, but the other student that has autism may take that very personal because someone's not responding back to them as soon as they feel like they should be responding back. So their perception is they're being ignored. So reading body language is tough, yes, and it is very tough on virtual means. So all these dynamics that we're talking about are things that we have to work a little bit harder with our students on, and try to be vigilant in teaching, because we have to set them up for work.